All right, look at that boy clean up his gym. You know, if there's anything you can do, get you a gym in a garage. That's one of the best things. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it, whatever. But I gotta say, being able to wake up, go out to the garage and work out, man, it's like super convenient. You gotta have a journal, right? Difference in training and exercise. Training, you got a plan. Exercise, you don't. Plain and simple. Training gets better and better over time. There's just some shoes. You ain't gotta have them shoes. Get you some Converse with the solid rubber soles and just forget about it for a while. I used the high top Converse for 6 months to a year. And when I first started lifting, it's just fine. It's fine. I got these lifting shoes just because I started lifting a lot heavier weight, especially when I was trying to go for a 500-pound deadlift, which I will get eventually, but right now I just can't train for it. I got other things I got to train for. So, but yeah, shoes not a necessity. This right here is a squat. Warm up is extremely important, especially older you get. And so don't skip this part. You see that empty bar? It doesn't seem like I'm doing anything, but I am doing stuff. Starting to get the blood pumping into the muscles. All right, starting to get my heart rate up, get warmed up, all that kind of stuff. It's very important. You know, I'm 48 years old, and for me, this is like one of the most important parts of the day is getting warm before the workout. If you're, 15, 18 years old, all that kind of stuff, you could take a short warm up and then get after it just because you're more efficient at doing it. But older you get, you need to pay attention to those warm ups. Now, this is a low bar back squat. Heels shoulder width apart, toes pointed out to the side about 30-35 degrees. Knees go over the toes as I go down. And when I come up, the initial drive is from the hip. If you watch my butt actually begins to lift before the bar begins to lift. I'm talking like a split second. And that's hip drive. It takes advantage of the stretch shortening cycle. I'll explain that later. It's not really important right now. But what I want you to know is a low bar back squat is the best squat that you can do. Simply because it takes the hamstrings at a greater range of motion. And the way that the bar is positioned a little bit further down on the back forces you to sort of bend forward a little bit more than, say, like a high bar back squat or a front squat, anything like that. And because it does, it creates just the perfect squat movement that transfers over into athletics and all those things. There I am, gonna look, see what weights I got coming up next. All right. This is a side view now. I just put this in there just to do so. It's not a very good one. The camera's sitting a little high and I've got black sweatpants on, so you can't really tell where the hips and everything are going to. And it looks really like I'm only coming to parallel, but in actuality I am coming below parallel. And there's your boy dancing like an idiot. You know, when you got the music cranking and you're in a good mood and you're getting your workout in and you're by yourself, just let it go. That's your time to be with yourself and enjoy it. You're alive, Stop complaining so much. This is the last set. And right here, just want to show, you see how my hips will start to move out of the bottom first? I mean, it's like a split second. But you'll see it goes down, tip, boom. That's what I'm talking about, the hip drive. It's very important. When you get the heavy weights on and you start lifting like that, that's when you really recognize what that's doing for you. Overhead press. Now this one, to me, is the king of the presses. If you have to choose between a flat bench press and an overhead press, you take the overhead press every day of the week. Why? Well, it transfers to athleticism much better. The one thing that the bench press has on the overhead press is that it tends to add frontal mass much better than the overhead press, right? And but it's not necessary. Flat bench is definitely not necessary. You can get strong without even bench pressing. Now, the one thing about this overhead press that you got to understand is that this is not a military press. Military press isolates the lower body, right? This press, your entire body is involved. Your entire body has to hold balance, right? Your entire body from the floor all the way up into your shoulders is tight, and it is forming a foundation for which you to move those shoulders and arms and ultimately that weight overhead. All right. So it's a very important lift. We're doing lightweight today, but you can see how my head moves around the bar. The bar goes from my collarbone straight up in the air, and when it's forward, I'll lean forward. Boom! You see that last little tick? That's where I hit those traps at the top. All right, Big Daddy, the deadlift. This is the king of all exercises. Creates a very strong posterior chain, very strong back, glutes, your hamstrings, everything gets really strong off this deadlift. If you could only choose 2 lifts to do for the rest of your life, you do the deadlift and you do the overhead press, and you will be just fine. Okay? Your body will get strong and will get athletic off of those 2 lifts alone. You can see here, it looks like there's a slight bend in my back, but that's not a bend in my back. That's actually my erector. I've a lot of muscle mass in my erectors, and it makes it look a little bit rounded. Now watch, whenever I start to lift, my lats will engage, and the sweatshirt, you will see the difference. It will wrinkle up, and then boom, I hit the lift. It'll wrinkle up, and then boom, I hit the lift. Now keep in mind the velocity. I'm lifting these pretty fast because this is a lightweight. This is 315 pounds, where normally I would have about 360, 375 pounds on here. So watch, right, boom. You see how right before the lift, boom. You see the wrinkles in the sweatshirt? Boom. That's when my lats engage. And that right there, my friends, is the deadlift. That's all I got for today. Till next time.
Come here.
Tea?
And we're done.